So I thought I'd make this video on my ayahuasca experience back in the beginning of 2024. So yeah, it was a 4-day one. We went off on a 4-day retreat, and it was, you have to do diet prior to it. No red meat, no pork, no fizzy drinks, no alcohol, no coffee, and other things like that. So you do your preparation before you go. We got there. I went on my own. I didn't know anyone there, which I think is a good thing because you're more. It's more out of your comfort zone, but you're just, I don't know. You've got no distractions, I suppose. If you don't know anyone there, you've got no influence or whatever, So, I went there. It was a 4-day one, and on the 3 days of ayahuasca, which was incredible. It was wild. It was just intense. It wasn't all nice. It was just full on. But it was all necessary. It was all needed for the journey of it all. And on the 3rd day, on the Sunday, we done a bit of psilocybin on the evening. In the day. It was just laughs and jokes and whatnot, and we just chilled out, and it was a good laugh. And on that evening, it was funny that my head, and this other chap that was with it on the retreat as well, he had the same feeling. Our heads went numb, so the whole of our heads just felt numb. No one else's did. It was just me and this other lad who was in the same room as me. It was me on one bunk bed, another chap, and then the girl underneath him in the bunk bed. And that night, it was a long few nights. It was just really, it was draining. It was the ceremonies were going on until like 3 a.m. and I was still waking up quite early because my body clock was just getting used. It was used to waking up early still. So it was a long few days, not much sleep, and on the last night, it was something that I'd never forget, and to this day. That something went through all three of us. An entity went through all three of us. The chap that was on the bunk bed next to me, I woke up with him chanting. He was doing a West Indian chant, and he was chanting, and then he was shouting "Oi!" at the end of it. And he sort of woke up. I got my phone light on, shone it on him, and I said, "Are you okay?" And he said, "Yeah." He's a bit dazed, and so went back to sleep after that. I don't think he slept much after it. He was quite dazed and spun out by it. And then the girl underneath him was, she was like saying no in her sleep. She was like moaning no in her sleep. And same again, put my phone light on, shone it on her, and she said it was like something was pulling her out of bed. And I was just like, what's going on here? So we all went to sleep again. I went to sleep and I felt it come to me then, and I felt the pulling feeling, and I could picture it to this day. I could feel my body moving. My body was being pulled to the left, and I could feel it, and I was trying to resist it, and I woke up dazed, and the chap said, you were moaning in your sleep, you were, and I said, yeah, I felt like I was being pulled, and it come to me, and then I went to sleep again. It come to me again, and I could picture it. I could picture it to this day. I could picture this face. It was a bit like an alien sort of figure. I did draw a little. It's not the best drawing, but I drew a little thing similar to what it looked like. That sort of thing. Big eyes, big black eyes, like an entity, like an alien figure. And it was sort of looking away, and it looked towards me. And I remember pushing it and telling it to fuck off. And I woke up at that point and dazed again. And I woke up to it, and it was like, it was surreal, something that you can't, that's not physical, that's on a different dimension or whatever to this one. It went through all three of us in the same room. That was the last night of it. So we woke up, and we told the shamans that were running the show. We told them, and they got us outside. They grounded us. They were saying the Lord's Prayer. They were cleansing us with sage and everything like that. And and yeah, and for about 3 or 4 days after that, I felt on edge a bit. You know, I think you do anyway when you go to these things. You try and integrate back into normal life and stuff, which is a struggle. But yeah, about 3 or 4 days after, it stuck with me, and I could. Josh says I kept waking up. You know, night I was getting night sweats, and I kept waking up saying, "Are you okay? Are you okay?" I kept asking if she was okay, and the feeling of my senses were heightened. I could hear noises from, it felt like miles away, owl noises. I could hear them quite distinctly, and it lasted for about 3 days, and it was just bizarre. And I thought I'd just put this video out there to see if anyone else has experienced the same sort of thing, or who can relate to it. And it was an incredible experience, and every step of it was amazing. You know, it wasn't always pleasure. It was pain. It was intense. It's everything you probably need. You know, you don't go to these retreats for like a high. You go because you want to learn something. You know, you're going for a deeper reason. And it was definitely that. It was incredible. But what we experienced on the last day was just it will stay with me. And it was incredible. But I'd love to hear if anyone else has experienced that sort of thing before, or who can relate to it, entities and that sort of thing. And so I'd love to hear anyone else who may have, might have had the same experience, or knows anything about that sort of thing. But yeah, that was my ayahuasca experience, and I haven't done one since. It's been about 1.5 years now, but I'm sure I will do one again. To anyone who's thinking of doing it, you know, it was incredible. You know, I do recommend it. You do. It is intense, but it's sort of necessary. You know, sort of the necessary thing that you sometimes need. So yeah, that's my ayahuasca experience.